how's it going folks? Stacker Noob UK back once again with another silver stacking video. Hope you're all doing really well. Now I was planning to do my 3-year stack recording video today. However, the weather in this part of the country is absolutely horrible. Well, actually the whole country is absolutely horrible, and anytime I get free time the weather just descends upon me, so the lighting really isn't very good to show off my stack in its entirety. So I thought I'd just bring you this little video here. I've been meaning to have this discussion with you guys for quite a while, and it's on the topic of how silver, I think, has completely changed my life. I'm sure some of you will understand exactly what I mean once we get into the nitty-gritty of this subject. So, silver. Silver stacking is extremely fun, is it not? It's really interesting little hobby, I think. And weirdly, it's quite social. You would think that this is the kind of thing that would make you a bit of a recluse, but actually, all us recluses come together on the internet and chat about this stuff, like we're doing right here on YouTube, and in places such as the Silver Forum. But importantly for me, getting into silver stacking had a massive impact on the way I approach everything in life. So, for me, silver really did change my life. Now, how did that happen? So I think I've identified 6 sort of key ways that I've completely changed the way I approach things because of silver. Well, the first one is a really good one. It's a nice fun one. Silver stacking was a nice little hobby for me. It's the first hobby actually that I've kept going for anything more than a couple of years. I used to play the guitar quite a lot, and I'm still quite good at that, but I haven't really been given that the attention it deserves. But silver stacking I've been doing for just over 3 years now, and I don't intend to stop. It is a really fun, interesting hobby. It's much more intricate and detailed the further you get into this hobby than you might realise before you start. The second big important reason for me that it's changed my life is that this represents tangible savings for me. Now we're all after a bit of this stuff here, bit of this dinero here. It's about £15 worth here. I put this on the table because I think this represents roughly what 1 ounce of silver is currently worth. It give or take a few pounds depending on fluctuations, but generally £15 an ounce is a nice round number to be working with. So for me, there's £15. I'd rather have that. I'd rather have that 1 ounce coin there than this £15, at least to some degree. It's silver is a very nice way of feeling your hard work in your hands. It's all well and good seeing those numbers go up in the bank account, but when you can see physically how you've worked and saved and achieved something here, it really is a really nice feeling. And that's completely changed the way that I view money, but we'll get onto that in a second. Another way that I feel silver has changed my life is I feel much more secure financially than I did 3 years ago. Now, 3 years ago, it did coincide with me really getting into the nitty-gritty of my career and really starting to see, me earning some decent pay rises and things. So my silver stacking has followed that journey with me. But I do feel much more secure knowing that should anything go wrong, and should anything, need some emergency funds, that I'm not just relying on the numbers in my bank account. I can also rely on what I have here. I'm guessing about sort of £7,000 worth of precious metals now, I think. Of course, the silver stacking update video will confirm that. I'm not entirely sure. But that is a really nice little physical asset to fall back on should I need it. And I can't tell you what circumstance that would be. But there might be a case where you need money literally right now, and you can take this down to a pawn shop and pawn it in. They'll give you spot, or maybe just below, or a jewellery shop or something. But it's fast access cash if you need it. Or there are circumstances, and this happens quite a lot, when the internet banking services go down, and imagine if something catastrophic happened and you needed money right away. Silver stacks represent a little liquid asset for you to use in that situation as well. Now, the 4th, 5th and 6th reasons that silver has changed my life are much more sort of fundamental to the silver stacking venture, I think. First of all, stacking this stuff here has taught me the value of money. So this is another 1 ounce of silver shot in here, and it's currently, like I say, worth about 15 of these fine British pounds. But what is £15? Well, when you think about it, what does £15 or what does this currently represent. So living in London, wages are a little higher, and I understand this won't be the case for the rest of the country, but we pay a lot more in London in housing and rent and food costs, all that sort of stuff. But £15 I think represents roughly an hour's wage in London for your average person in their 30s like myself. And when you think about it, £15 an hour, this is just stored energy. You have worked, you have produced something to your company and therefore the wider economy, and you've got this in return. This represents 1 hour of my time, basically. And that's thinking about value of money, thinking about the value of money in that way has really, really changed the way I do things. So if I'm buying something, I think, how long did I have to work to be able to buy this? And that is, it's a real revelation when you start thinking about money as a store of your hard work, instead of just numbers on a screen or some bits of paper in your wallet. Try it. You'll soon realise that £15 for that cocktail at a bar, really? 1 hour's work to have a little drink like this size? No, sorry, not for me, not for me. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, then absolutely fine. But me, no, I'll leave that, thank you very much. A pint, however, 3 pints? Yeah, I'll work for an hour for 3 pints, no problem at all. And that is also sort of number 5, is the value of work. How much am I worth to someone? How much am I worth to my bosses? If they are prepared to give me one of these for every hour that I do their bidding, then I'm absolutely, totally fine with that. Because honestly, the amount of work that it takes to get this is incredible. And if they want to give me one of these for every hour I work, then that is absolutely fine with me. But number six is going to be a really, really controversial one, guys. I'm really not sure how this is going to go. Number 6 is freedom from indoctrination. The silver stacking community is a funny one. We are full of conspiracy theorists, we're full of both wings of politics, left and right. We're full of all sorts of different methods of measuring economic activity, etc., etc. But for me, some things really stand out. When you start thinking about silver and researching it, where it comes from, how it's measured, what it was traditionally worth, how much of it comes out of the ground compared to gold, you realise that things like the stock market, for example, do not reflect reality. Stocks do not reflect reality. The price of silver does not reflect reality. Let's take an example of something which doesn't reflect reality right now. The coronavirus, everyone's been talking about this, COVID-19. I haven't actually done any issues on this, any topics on this issue, although I am actually extremely qualified. I have a PhD in immunology and virology, so respiratory immunology actually, so I could tell you a lot about this, but from an economic point of view, what I find fascinating is in some parts of China, manufacturing output is down 92%, yet all the stock markets across the world, save a few of them, are hovering near all-time highs. That is not what I would expect when the world's manufacturing hub, the world's factory, is suffering severely right now. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why is that? Well, quantitative easing, obviously central banks are pumping money into that, and that is devaluing the price or the value of this, which devalues the value of your hour's time that you've put in to get this. So this is what I'm talking about. The whole idea behind silver stacking and the research you do behind it completely changes the way that you view this stuff here. There's other issues like housing, for example. In the UK at least, housing, it's now about sort of an average of 8 salaries worth of money, which will allow you to buy one house. 20, 30 years ago, that was 4 times the salary. How has that happened? Well, it's because they're printing this stuff into oblivion, but nothing else is catching up in value. And then, of course, we've got the political side of it. You know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but it does open your eyes to the way the media can manipulate things. A classic example is the Weinstein, Epstein, Assange, Facebook, George Soros type of situations that are going on. The media has one narrative. Well, researching this stuff makes you rethink everything you think you know. And so for me, I don't trust traditional media anymore at all. I always do my own research on absolutely everything. There are agendas all over the place in this world. But the one thing that silver gives me is my single agenda, which is to seek the truth and control my own future. And that is just ultimately what silver stacking is about for me. So, like, in essence, my whole worldview has shifted since I discovered this stuff. And I'm just showing off this bar because this is a little lovely backyard building bar. Beautiful hourglass ripples there. Good work as always, sir. But yeah, so before I became educated on the ways of silver stacking, I thought silver was treasure. I thought it was expensive and it's precious, and it is all of those things. It is treasure. It is precious. But one thing it's not is expensive, and it should be. If you ask the man on the street how much this big chunk of silver is worth, I can't imagine the numbers they'd give you, but they would not tell you 50 quid, which is what this is roughly worth in spot value, which is quite shocking. The world's really ignored silver for so long that when the masses finally wake up, I think I've put myself in a really, really strong position. So it might not have changed my life materially right now, but it may well do in the future. And if not, that's fine. I get to keep stacking all of this stuff, participating in my hobby, and it's the first hobby I've ever maintained for more than a few months, as I say. So I know that some of what I've said might seem really, really grandiose and like kind of over the top, and that's fine. But this is how I feel about silver. This is how I feel it changes me as a person. And the great thing about this community is that we can all think differently and be prepared to listen to each other, because we are. We don't all believe each other's theories, each other's conspiracies, and we don't all stack for the same reasons. But what I think we can all agree on is that everyone has the right to determine their own future and their own path. And of course, this stuff here, beautiful, fine, pure silver, is valuable and is a very precious commodity that everybody should own. So a little bit of a ramble there, guys, but I hope you understand that for me, this stuff is more than just looking at a shiny brick. It is literally a way of life. It's a way of completely changing the way that you see the world. I hope it's done that for you as well. Get down in the comments, let me know what you think. Have a great time, have a great day, look after yourselves, thanks, and cheers.